Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
There'll be a brief ad at the end of the video. Andrew and a whole bunch of other people sent me this story, and it's one of those things where attorneys read this and go, oh, I know what I'd do there. And the man has an attorney. But a lot of people who contact me said this is a rather confusing story, and it's not that confusing. So, local man left paying loan for seized truck, discovered to be stolen from Atlanta. The story is by Karen Jenkins from WJHL, and I believe that's in Tennessee. A Rogersville man purchased what he was told was a used 2019 F-250 from a local dealer, and 2 months later, investigators from the Tennessee Department of Revenue and Tennessee Highway Patrol seized the truck as a stolen vehicle. So the man who bought it's 20 years old, and he told News Channel 11 that he traded in his 2017 truck to make the deal, and he took out a loan for $40,000, which he is still making payments on as of right now. And he said that investigators had badges and paperwork for that truck with another VIN on it. It says the investigators looked through his truck and were able to find the original VIN under the dash. And I've mentioned before that the vehicle identification number is on a vehicle in a bunch of places. The most obvious one at the base of the A pillar, you can see it through the glass, but it's almost always stamped in a bunch of other places. And so someone can take a stolen vehicle and swap out that VIN plaque, and if you're not careful and you go, oh, it matches the title. Well, it might not match the other VINs in the vehicle, and those are the harder ones to swap out. So they told him, number one, it isn't even a 2019 vehicle, it's 2017. Number two, it was stolen from Atlanta, and that's according to a spokesperson for the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. I am always curious to know how they find this stuff out, because if he had gone to title his vehicle and he was titling it as a 2019 when it was actually 2017, the VIN wouldn't reveal that. However, I suspect that somebody had pulled that VIN off a wrecked vehicle in a junkyard that had been scrapped, and it's probably reported as scrapped. So it was only a matter of time before these things caught up with it, referring to the truck. So frustrated and in shock, he said, surely the dealership would make it right. No, they won't, and stop calling him Shirley. They said, no, we're as much a victim as you are, he said. You know, that's for somebody to go up there and believe in them. Their motto is used cars, no bull. But that's some bull if you ask me. He filed a lawsuit against the dealership, as well as a complaint with the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance, who I'm guessing is the licensing agency for used car dealers. In the suit, he claims the dealership should have known to check for multiple VINs and asks for a trial by jury and $125,000 in damages. And by the way, I've dealt with dealerships who don't check the other VINs. They glance the one underneath the windshield and go with that one. You'd think they go over that stuff every day buying and selling vehicles, so especially a big dealership like this one, they should know if a VIN is fake or know if it's real, he asked. Though unable to comment because of the pending litigation, the president and CEO of the dealership told the News Channel 11 over the phone, some of the accusations in the lawsuit are inaccurate. However, he said they will make every attempt to make it right. So the man said that in 31 years of business, this has never happened before. And they've already changed their procedure of checking the multiple VINs on vehicles. He also says he hopes to settle the case before it goes to trial. And of course, that's all the man who bought the truck says he wants. I just hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. They need to make things right, do the right thing. I'm all about doing the right thing. In the meantime, the dealership filed its own suit against the woman they say traded the truck into them. Her attorney said she bought the truck from a private owner in South Carolina, not knowing it was stolen. And he said they intend to file a similar lawsuit against that seller. And by the way, that's what you have to do. So this man sues a dealer sues who they got it from, that person sues, and eventually they go up the chain. The problem is there could be a statute of limitations on somebody further up the chain, depending on how long ago the sales were taking place and so on. Because if the vehicle is from 2017, titled as a 2019, you might still be good, but some of those statutes might be 4 years. That's my concern. So News Channel 11 has made a public records request to the Atlanta Police Department looking for information on the original theft. The name of the owner listed in paperwork given to the buyer here lists somebody from Texas as the rightful owner of the truck. So there you go. Now you might be saying, but Steve, so you sue the dealership that you got it from. This guy's still making payments. Well, if that's true, that's actually a mistake. And the reason I say that is it says here that he took out a loan for $40,000. And that's a purchase money loan. That's where you go to a dealership and say, I want to buy this, but I can't afford it. I want you to lend me the money to buy it, and we'll make it the collateral. Purchase money security interest, okay? And so if the dealership arranges that financing for you, and in most cases they do, but it did not say it specifically here, but I'm guessing they did. If the dealership arranged the financing here, there's a thing called the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, the holder rule, referring to who holds the paper, who holds the loan. It's been in existence since 1976. And if you've ever bought a car where the dealership arranged the financing, so for instance, you go into a General Motors dealership and they say, we can sell you this car. You go, I want to buy this car, but I can't afford it. They go, we can finance you through GMAC or Ally or whatever it might have been at the time. And they lend the money for you to buy the car becomes the collateral, and then you make your payments to this third-party lender. Anytime you've done that, if you read the documents over, buried in the document someplace is a thing that says, notice, any holder of this consumer credit contract is subject to all claims and defenses which the debtor could assert against the seller of goods or services obtained pursuant hereto or the proceeds hereof. Recovery hereunder by the debtor shall not exceed amounts paid by the debtor hereunder. But the point is that the person who lent you the money is standing in the shoes of the seller. They can't force you to make payments on a vehicle that was stolen when this deal falls apart. Now, the bank is going to go, but we're innocent too. We didn't know the car was stolen. No, apparently nobody did. But who should be held liable for this? Somebody else. But the same way, it's no fair for the dealership to sell this guy's stolen vehicle. It's no fair for the bank to require him to make payments on the stolen vehicle. And so I can tell you that I've, in my life, filed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits where I sue a manufacturer, I sue a dealer, and I sue a bank. And I've had clients ask me, and I explain it to them. They go, why are we suing the finance company? And I say, because of this holder language. I show it to them. They go, oh, I didn't know that was there. Any holder of the consumer credit contract is subject to all claims and defenses which the debtor, that's the buyer, could assert against the seller of goods or services obtained pursuant hereto or with the proceeds hereof. Okay. Now, the question is, if you stop making payments, what's going to happen? Unfortunately, I've seen it before where some banks have said, well, if you stop making payments, we're going to report you to a credit bureau. Oh, are you really now? So that's why you file the lawsuit and you name them. Because they're on notice, that's why you stop making payments. Keep in mind that we're talking about the law in Tennessee. I'm licensed in Michigan. It might vary from state to state. However, the fact that the man is still making payments on this is something that I assume he needs to talk about with his attorney. Go, do I really need to keep making payments on a stolen vehicle? What you do is you run to court ASAP and you ask for an order of the court, if you can get one, to say that none of the parties here dispute that vehicle is stolen. Therefore, the underlying transaction ought to be void. And if the underlying transaction is void, then you don't make payments to the bank because they stand in the shoes of the seller who sold a stolen vehicle. And so that's what I would do if I was handling this in Tennessee, but I'm not licensed in Tennessee, so I'm not handling it. But like I said, I've literally filed hundreds of lawsuits naming finance companies, and I've never had one of them go, why are you suing us? They know. That language is on the document that they drafted. And so I'll tell you right now, one of my best friends is an attorney who for years represented one of the banks I sued a lot. We became friends. I sued him that often. Funny how that works. But the point is, it says here in the headline, local man left paying loan for seized truck discovered to be stolen from Atlanta. He shouldn't be paying for it that much longer. But we'll see how that goes. But again, Karen Jenkins wrote this for WJHL. And sadly, we don't know who's going to get stuck holding the bag on this. Because he bought it. He shouldn't have to pay for it. The dealership bought it. But they also appear to have been ripped off. So then you go up the chain title, and sooner or later you're going to run into somebody who knew it was stolen. Like I said, the question is simply how far up the chain you go and how far back that transaction occurred. So there you go. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye. I told you there'd be an ad at the end of the video. Here we are. I'm here to talk to you about the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6 chair. Now, I've talked about FlexiSpot before. The previous chair was a C7. It's the chair I sit in 7 days a week at my desk when I'm working. I sit in a chair here on camera, but no, the FlexiSpot's the one I spent the most time in, and I love that chair. So they contacted me and said, Steve, we've got this new chair. It's the Recliner XL6. Are you interested in it? I said, of course. Let me try it out. If I like it, I'd be happy to talk about it on my channel. So here we are. It is a recliner, and I'll be honest, I've never owned a recliner before. I got big chairs, I got couches, I got stools, I got all kinds of stuff. I've never had a recliner before. But the cool thing about this one is it has dual motors with independent control of the backrest and the footrest. It's got a weight capacity of 400 pounds, and that surpasses many other lift chairs on the market. And the lift position gets to being almost flat. So while we're talking, I'm going to show you footage of me in the chair playing with the controls. And then also, I'm going to show you some footage shot from the side without anybody in the chair, just so you can get a good look at the chair. And here's the thing. I got this chair a few weeks ago. I've been sitting in it every single day. And I've discovered a phenomenon. And it reminds me of when I was a little kid in my family with my 5 brothers. Yeah, let's say it. Your poor mother. And we'd run to the station wagon. We were to go someplace. And the fight was over who got the best seat. You don't want to sit in the middle of the middle row. You want to sit in the far back or at the window, right? And I've been reminded of that now because anytime there's more than one person who's going to sit in the living room, there's a race to get to this chair. This chair is cool because it's got all kinds of cool stuff besides the fact of all the different ways you can adjust how you're laying in it or sitting in it. But this is cool. It's got massage functions and heating functions. So you can sit in this chair, you can recline it, you can have it massage you. You can also have it heat. So you're sitting in the room, you feel a little chilly, flip the heat on. You just had a hard day at work, physical labor, maybe working in the yard, who knows? Want to put your legs up and have them massaged? You can do that in the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6. So here's the thing. These kinds of recliners can be very, very expensive with all the stuff that's inside there, the motors and so on. They often cost a couple $1,000s. This one is priced at less than $500, so it is extremely, extremely affordable. And if there are elderly people around the house, I've known some people, they get a comfy chair and they have a hard time getting out of it. And sometimes it is a little embarrassing to ask. I know some people just don't want to ask. They hate to ask people for help. Guess what? Here you go. Press a button. This thing will lift you up and out, and you can just step right out of it. Now, I'll admit, I'm not at the point yet where I need that right now. It's not far off. I'm aging as we speak. It's got some other cool stuff going on. Besides the 2 sets of controls, one to adjust the chair and one to adjust the massage and heat, it's got a USB charging port in one of those controls. You want to charge something while you're sitting there? No problem, do that. The headrest is also adjustable. That's not motor controlled, that's just manually adjusted. It's very easy to do. It's also got really, really easy to care for material on the cover. So it's designed where you can very, very easily keep it clean. A piece of big furniture like that's going to be in your lifetime as well as your living room for quite some time. And so you want to be able to stay on top of that, of course. And then it's got convenient side pockets. And that's great because, among other things, you can put the controls in there when you're not sitting in the chair, or you're not using the controls, you put them down in the side pocket. I've also put the manual in there, although quite frankly, the manual is relatively straightforward because it's got pictographs, which is something I'm a big fan of. Who's got time for words? Show me how to do it with symbols. So you can check it out by clicking the link below. And I encourage you just to click the link and look at the thing. It's available in a variety of colors. I got mine in blue because I like blue. And you can use an exclusive code which will give you. It'll be printed below here in the information box, but also in a pinned comment. But it's YTB XL650, and you'll get $50 off this chair. So YTB XL650, you get $50 off on this chair. And by the way, if you want to buy more than one, the $50 off applies per chair. Go ahead and buy 2. That way you won't fight over it like I'm forced to do. So again, From the great people who brought you the C7. This is the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6. And again, it's got dual motors. It's adjustable. All these different adjustments and ways that you can lay in it, sit in it, whatever. And then you want to get out of it. It'll even help you get up and out if you need that. And like I said, it's got the massaging functions, the heat functions. And on top of all of this, it is exceptionally affordable. And by the way, I mentioned when I was talking about the C7 about how long it took me to put it together, and it wasn't that bad. This thing went together real easy. I was surprised at how quickly it went together. So I had help, but it went together. I wouldn't be surprised if we cut the box open and we're sitting in it 10 minutes later and fighting over 11 minutes later. So that's how it is. With the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6, check out the website. It's an amazingly comfortable and affordable chair, and it's got a lot of cool features, and you get $50 off by using my code YTBXL650. And like I said, while we were talking, down in the corner, I think over here, was some footage of me sitting in the chair, showing how comfortable it is, and also just some, we call it B-roll in the business, of the chair going through its various positions to show you how it goes from full sitting to almost flat. So there you go. That is the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6. But I assure you, it's a cool chair. I've got one. I love it. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law.
A printer consists of 3 main parts: the case, the jammed paper tray, and the blinking red light.